Alright, we're here. So the problem with the review today is I truly do not have some type of quippy introduction or any segue to really lead into discussion about the film, so I'm just gonna go out and say it. Today we are talking about Bullet Train. Now, Bullet Train is an interesting property because, in theory, this is a film that I really wouldn't be excited for. Another action comedy in a contained atmosphere is kind of a worn down trope at this point that really does grate at me. But something about this movie really got to me, and I was genuinely interested. Perhaps it's the Brad Pitt of it all, perhaps it's because of the staying alive version in the intro, but something really got me to the point where I wanted to genuinely see this movie and was looking forward to it. My friend on Twitter, Julian, called me crazy for feeling that way, and frankly, I was feeling that way myself, but lo and behold, there's an early access screening on Tuesday. I get to see it and get a review up on Wednesday. Yes, please. Would love to do that. Let's go see it. Really excited. Show up to the Regal, ticket in hand, in the RPX, big theater, lots of people. Not too many people to make me uncomfortable, but lots of people. A laughter amongst the crowd, murmuring as the showtime approaches. The showtime arrives, the movie commences, we watch it for 2 hours and 6 minutes, and I leave the theater feeling fine. Let's get into it, shall we? So there is one big positive about this film, and it's the biggest thing that I can think of that affects the film in one way or the other, and that is the fact that, oh my god, everyone here not only puts on good performances, but more importantly, they are all having a good time. It's very clear that this was a very enjoyable filming process for everyone involved, and it just shows there's a lot of chemistry between all of the characters, and in a film where every character is interconnected in a certain way, you need to have that between everybody, not just certain people, and it's really nice to see that level of camaraderie and chemistry. Did Brad Pitt's humor come off as a little bit Ryan Reynolds-y and very, very forced in there and very not Brad Pitt-y? Yeah, it definitely did. But you know what? Brad Pitt was having the absolute time of his life. He was putting it all in there, and honestly, I wouldn't say it's a bad performance. Other really good performances in the film, however, Brian Tyree Henry is great, and Brian Tyree Henry is great in everything he does, but in this, he really is given the space and the screen time to shine, which he generally doesn't get in a lot of the films that he's in, so kudos to him. His partner in crime, no pun intended, Aaron Taylor Johnson, is also fantastic in the film. Really, really great dynamic between the two of them, and they come off as the most likable people in the film. To me, at least, they really, really have this bond with each other that is very, very prominent on screen. Speaking of good sibling bonds, seeing that in Nope, and this was also really great here. It's nice to see good sibling teams in films nowadays, and like good platonic, loving relationships between people who are related, and not just like toxic, horrible relationships between family members, as we often see. Another great performance in this film is 1,000,000% Zazie Beetz in the little bit of time that she has. She's really fun. Michael Shannon is good in his little bit. So is Logan Lerman. There's a really fun cameo in here, and by really fun cameo, I mean something that completely throws off the actual film and really bothers me because it's very, very gimmicky, and that part did bother me. But you know what really is the biggest testament to this film having good acting? In Bullet Train, Joey King is fine. I have never seen a performance in a movie where Joey King has been anything but atrocious. And in this movie, she is fine. Is she good? No. but she is nowhere near as bad as she usually is, and I have to commend her for that, because she really plays into her role pretty alright. And again, something I've never seen before, is something of a miracle. So the whole ensemble here is really, again, I said this before, putting it all out there, and that's a wonderful thing to see in any movie that you watch. Now, unfortunately, this can't just be a positive review, because that's not how I feel. There is a major negative that is directly countering the major positive of this camaraderie of the whole cast, and that is David Leitch specifically. David Leitch has a problem to me. If you don't know, he is the director of films such as Deadpool 2, Atomic Blonde, and Hobbs and Shaw. The latter of all of those, which I actually kind of liked. But here's the problem with David Leitch's films. They are a bunch of things. They are loud, they are a lot, they are very quippy, and they do get annoying at certain points. But here's the thing specifically about this movie. This is a very, very intense, gory, fight fest, no holds barred film, and yet it feels like the most sterile movie ever. And this kind of boils down, it does boil down to the technical elements of the film. You see on screen, all of this violence is happening, all of this gore is being shown, all of this blood is being splattered, but the technical elements do not match up with what's happening on screen. The cinematography of this film is so incredibly static and bland and gross and boring. The editing is incredibly corporate almost, in a way that it's like, ew, this is so uninspiring. Every technical element about this, aside from maybe a couple of interesting slow-mo shots or something along those lines, is just very, very normal. And it's very clear that David Leitch wants you to think that this isn't a normal film. Even the color grading looks kind of neutered in this. This is the film where you go wild. You let your imagination run wild with how you're showing what's going on screen, because of the insanity that is going on screen. You try different cinematography techniques. You edit weird. You use interesting color palettes and things like that. But instead, this film feels so formulaic on that end, and it completely counteracts the amazing, I wouldn't say amazing, actually, the pretty solid action going on. It does a disservice to what is happening on screen, and it's kind of really sad, because if it did work in tandem, I think that this movie would have actually been good. But in my current state of mind, I really can't give it that, because it's just so not where it needs to be. It would be like if a film like Everything Everywhere All at Once was shot and edited and graded in the style of a Russo brothers movie. What makes the movie special, Everything Everywhere All at Once, is the pure insanity of how it's being portrayed, in tandem with the pure insanity of what's actually happening in the movie. And I feel like that could have worked here with Bullet Train, but it just doesn't at all. It's like the two are actively working against each other. And that really takes away from the movie for me. I enjoyed it a little bit, but I could have enjoyed it so much more. Ultimately, at the end of the day, I am going to be giving Bullet Train a 4 out of 10. There are going to be people out there that absolutely love it, and I'm very excited to hear your thoughts about the film in the comments, but it just did not do it for me. I know I really only talked about 2 things, but that's because the rest of the film is just kind of middling. There's not a lot to talk about in regards to it, but those 2 things really do work against each other, and ultimately, if you want to be technical about it, the negative element wins more so than the positive one. So that will be it for this video for me. I hope you are having a wonderful day. Review of Easter Sunday on Friday. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day, and I will talk to you in the next one. Goodbye.